This music sounds like I'm on the floor right now.
And cut. Guys, welcome to another episode of SoFLo Sports Show. Your host, 305 Sports Week, co-host Miami Lou. Episode number 89. So close to 100.
Right.
And coming off some good stuff this past week, right?
Win. That's the most important thing.
Yeah, so Dolphins obviously won big on Sunday. And when I say big, it shouldn't have been big because we should have just demolished the Jets. And I can't believe it even ended up going into overtime. And then we woke up this morning to find out that we are burgerless in Miami.
Yes.
Jake Burger got sent to the Rangers for 3 prospects. 1 in the top 30, the other 2 not. So
typical Marlins move. What are you going to do?
I tweeted out a little bit ago. I said, name that franchise who trades away top players for prospects who usually don't even work out. I had some other guesses. Some people said the Red Sox, which ironically enough is my AL team, and I was like, dang. But yeah, so that was a rough morning this morning to wake up to that news. And yeah, Chef Jew in the house. Thank you. As you know, like, subscribe, share. All that good stuff, and donate to DCC, but we'll take that as well. Definitely like and
speaking of good stuff, Chef Chu's got a lot of great things cooking. He put it together an amazing post there where he has all the holiday festive treats that he's putting together. So definitely check him out. Looks delicious, Chef Chu. Thank you.
Definitely. So let's get right into it. Sunday we won, right? And people say a win's a win, but I was not happy with that win. It was not pretty. Our defense, first of all, we were going against Aaron Rodgers, right? That's one thing. But you take Aaron Rodgers plus the Jets.
Right.
And Aaron Rodgers as himself is a force to be reckoned with.
He used to be. He's not anymore. I mean, clearly he's past his prime. So I'm not really didn't really scare anybody going into this game. I wasn't worried about that.
But the plus Jets part should have demolished any of Aaron Rodgers' potential. And the Jets were without Breece Hall and Sauce Gardner.
And Sauce Gardner, no doubt.
They're 2 of their arguably best offensive and defensive players.
No doubt.
And you wouldn't have noticed by the way they played.
Yeah. I mean, I think anybody who woke up on Sunday morning and saw that Breece Hall, by the way, our guest last week, Antoine Staley, mentioned that both of them did not practice all week. So, but that happens at this part of the year where, players don't practice and they are a game time decision and end up playing. But I think when the word got out that both Breece Hall and Sauce Gardner were going to be out, you look at that and you think, hey, the Dolphins should win this game rather handily. And it was anything but that.
It was down to the wire to the point where it went to overtime. And so let's start from the beginning. Dolphins start, score a touchdown, and then Jason Sanders, right? You think, all right, this is going good. We score the touchdown, and he misses the extra points.
Yeah.
From that moment, I had a gut feeling. There was a pit in my stomach thinking, this may not go the way we want it to. Granted, it ended up working out. He was perfect up there on after.
He's been perfect. I mean, he's been
but
on
just
fire.
To start the game like that.
Yeah, the extra point, was bothersome. But a lot of kickers been missing extra points of late. Let's not even get into Baltimore Ravens and Justin Tucker, who can't buy a field goal to save his life. Literally, this is one of the clutchest kickers of all time. But Jason Sanders has been pretty much money this season. Certainly the last 4 games. I think he's 16 out of his last 16 field goal wise. So yes, the extra point, I could see how it made us feel a little bit uneasy.
Bad juju starting the game.
Yeah. They had to struggle and fight their way through it all the way towards, as you mentioned, overtime.
So fighting your way through it, let's back up even a little more. The run game, non-existent. Mostert did not play.
Right. Which,
as we've spoken about many times throughout this whole entire season, he's not the same Mostert we're used to seeing.
Yep.
And so that's been, I don't want to say a downfall, but you kind of see him progressing downward. He is one of the older running backs in the league, actually. And to see his progression kind of slow down and stuff, and then him not play at all Sunday was kind of like a jab. And then the run game, we just got 44 yards on the ground.
Yeah, it's not acceptable. I mean,
really bad.
You have to run the ball in this league. luckily for us, Tua's been balling out, and he's been, to his credit, connecting with his receivers of late. Obviously, Jonnu Smith, who caught the game-winning touchdown, and he's been on fire of late. And really, Tyreek and Jalen Waddle both shine in this game. Tyreek Hill had 115 yards, 10 catches, a touchdown. Jalen Waddle, 9 catches for 99 yards. So, he's mixing in it with them. But unfortunately, as you mentioned, the running game has not come to fruition. And you mentioned Mostert. Mostert, if you recall last year, because we were at that game against the Jets, where he set the franchise record for most, touchdowns scored by a player, obviously not counting quarterbacks because that's Marino, but he set the franchise record, and he's to the point now where he's been banged up all year and hasn't been able to do anything nearly as good as he did last year.
So do you think that this is the end of Mostert?
Well, I mean, I think he's got to get healthy. I mean, for a guy who's 31 years old, usually that's the age where a running back is pretty much at the point of retirement. But if you recall, he got a late start to his career, and he was never a starter. He's always been a journeyman, and he's had numerous stops, so he hasn't had a big workload throughout his career. So no, I don't think he's done. I think he's and the fact that he hasn't been productive this year is all the more reason to bring him back, because nobody's going to want him coming off a season where he didn't put up the numbers.
Very true. Switching the coin on that, the defense just did not look good. I mean, they showed up in the fourth when we really needed them to make the stops, but it just was not pretty.
It wasn't. And again, Aaron Rodgers, yes, he has the name, but unfortunately is not, proven to be that guy as he's been here with the Jets. He obviously didn't make it through a series last year, and this year, his comeback year has been a complete disaster. And the Dolphins, actually allow him to throw for 300 yards, the first time that's happened in 3 years.
Yeah.
So, that was disconcerting to see that. He got going with his receivers, both Garrett Hall and Devontae Adams. Gary Wilson and Devontae Adams both had 100 yards. They didn't run the ball that much either because their starter was out, but they did have a chance to double their running yards from us. They had 84 yards rushing. So, yeah.
Definitely. And the hero of the game was Malik Washington. Overtime.
Absolutely.
I mean, when you really needed him to show up, he showed up. And, when he ran it, 45 yards was it?
45-yard kick return. And look, the Jets did us a favor because they tried to throw the ball and they were trying to score a touchdown on that last drive. And the fact that Aaron Rodgers threw that ball, it stopped the clock and it gave the Dolphins a chance. But even with that chance, you'll recall we had no timeouts. So if Malik Washington doesn't return that kick 45 yards and put us, at midfield, it's very unlikely that we would have had enough time to engineer an opportunity to get down the field and give Sanders a chance for that game time field goal. So that was very impressive. And for me, obviously, Jonnu Smith was the winner. Tua was excellent. Tua, again, 300 yards passing. We mentioned that he connected with pretty much all his weapons. But this does not happen if Malik Washington doesn't have that return. So he gets my game ball, that's for sure.
I agree. So with that win, obviously our playoff hopes are still alive, but even kind of better. The Jets are officially eliminated from the playoffs. So that's always a great thing to knock out one of your arch nemesis, later on in the season. So the Jets will not have a shot at the playoffs this year for usual.
Yeah, that's true. So it is interesting, though, too, that we do play him. Obviously we got to do our part and keep winning.
Yeah.
But we do play him at the end of the year.
At MetLife.
Correct. Yeah. So, I don't want to taunt them just yet and say, hey, we eliminated them, because if everything pans out for us and we keep winning these games, they're going to have the opportunity to do that to us. So,
and we obviously know when our Dolphins head up to MetLife, it's dead in the middle of winter, and the kind of streak goes that our team does not play well in the cold.
Yes.
So that could be a very interesting last.
Well, we're going to have two chances at that. Obviously,
in Cleveland the week before.
Correct. Yeah. In Cleveland. So the last two games of the year, talk about a team that doesn't have any success in the cold. They're really going to have to prove it and earn it that they could take care of business right when it matters, no doubt.
Definitely. So, coming off that win against the Jets this week, we play at NYJ Stadium against the Texans, 1:00.
Well, sorry, one more note.
Yeah,
Yeah,
go
one more
ahead.
note on that game. It was reported, and I couldn't believe this, but that was the first occurrence of that final score. 32-26 has never been a final result. Obviously, the 2 is always a different. That would
Yeah.
involve a safety, but Sporigami, I think it is the website that charts these things. There's been 1,059 or whatever the number is, different results in a game, but that's the first time that 32-26 was the end of the game. I found that hard to believe, but it's true.
Actually crazy because
So,
that score is actually the score prediction that Joe Evie predicted for
Is it really?
I'm just kidding.
No, okay, I was about to say.
I'm just kidding. That would
Wow.
be crazy though. But yeah, go back to what I was saying. Obviously we play this week in Houston against the Texans NRG Stadium. Then the following week, the 49ers come down here, 1 o'clock game against them. And then we play Cleveland, and then our last game is, like you were saying, at MetLife. So 3 on the road, 1 home, and our fate is we're in charge of our fate pretty much.
Well,
for the most part,
we need help. We need help, but
yeah,
we in terms of what you're saying, we need to win out. I mean, there's no room for error starting this Sunday in Houston, and
you say that, and we're actually 0-5 at NRG Stadium.
That's right. It's going to get into the Dolphins-Texans series all time. We're 8-3 overall
against the Texans, but we just don't win at NRG yet.
0-5. We've never won a regular season game there. I mentioned this when we first put our trips together. I'm not sure if you made it known by now, but we will be there. We're going to be in Houston. We're actually leaving in several hours.
Yeah,
we're leaving
Desi
tomorrow.
just said, "Why aren't you guys packing?" It's a great question.
I know. We're working on that, Desi. We're working on it, but we are leaving tomorrow, so we will be in Houston. But we mentioned this when we put our trip together. We have some events that I know you're going to talk about later that we're putting together. But we mentioned this fun fact. Even though we've never run a regular season game there, the first ever game held in NRG Stadium when it opened was a Dolphins-Texans preseason game, and the Dolphins won that game. So they've won, but not when it counted. So we are 0-5, and we are hoping to turn that around and come out with a victory and keep our season alive.
Yeah, so for those who do not know, Josephine Abby just informed us that the temperature is going to be 30 at night, 60s during the day.
Up by her.
No, in Houston.
Oh, wow, I did not know that. Thank you for that weather update.
She's been watching the Weather Channel updates on Houston.
Nice.
And for those who do not know, NRG is an indoor stadium, so that 30 degree will not affect us nor the Dolphins.
Yep. So we were hoping, because it is a retractable roof, it's kind of like a convertible car.
It will be closed.
But when you get that forecast, you can definitely count on it being closed. So.
And even so, the Texans are favored by 3, but we know how that can go as well. Dave also in the chat. Dave is also joining us.
Dave, we will see you there.
In Houston as well. Desi and Dave are both with us, staying with us at the hotel with packages. And so as Josephine Ebby reported that it's going to be 30 at night. So
that's wild.
Bundle up.
Wow, we definitely got to thank you for letting us know that. We're going to have to we haven't started the pack yet, so now we know.
But it's a good 65, 70 during the day. So it's one of those things where it's chilly in the morning. I mean, although we do like a 70 for somebody might be cold, especially Floridians.
No, I love that weather, so it doesn't faze me. So yeah.
I saw 70s during the day, 60s. So it's going to be a little nippy.
So not 30s.
No, I did see 30s early on that it was going to get nippy at night.
Okay.
So
that's a drastic change right there. We need
Should I ask Siri?
Ask Siri. See what Siri tells you.
Siri, what's the temperature in Houston, Texas right now?
In Houston, Texas.
She is right. 38 degrees tonight as a low.
Wow. Okay, so Desi, it's bundle up.
Never challenge an old Italian wise woman, Desi. Dave, thank you for everything. No, thank you. We cannot wait to experience Houston with you. We have a lot of great things planned, as you know, and hopefully the icing on the cake will be the win. But regardless, we're gonna have an amazing time.
Yeah. So let's get you set for this game. Obviously, the Texans come into this game with a record of 8-5. They are the AFC South division leaders. Mm-hmm. Very weak division. You got the Titans in that division. The Jaguars have been awful, and the Colts, who we saw and should have beaten, have really been below average team as well. So not really too concerned with their competition. They haven't really played a favorable schedule. They've lost to good teams and beaten, with the exception of the Bills, have beaten the dredges of the league. So that's that. They are
quarterback CJ Stroud.
Yep, they got the big three on offense. You got Stroud, you got Joe Mixon at running back, and you got Nico Collins at wide receiver. Stephon Diggs, our former rival with the Bills, he's out for the season.
Yeah.
But Nico Collins was really taking over as the number one anyway. And yeah, they're coming out their bye week, but they've also lost 3 out of their last 5. So again, they've not been playing great ball. So there's going to be a chance. On the defensive side of the football, you got Daniel Hunter, you got 2 big monsters as edge rushers right now. You got Daniel Hunter, who's got 10.5 sacks. You got Will Anderson Jr., who's got 9.5 sacks. They're a formidable duo there. And so the offensive line, who did a great job last week against the Jets, Tua never got sacked. They're going to have to really step their game up. So whether you put Ingold back there or, Jonnu Smith, who missed some blocks last week, you got to have somebody back there to help out, because you got 2 guys on the edge that, unlike, our guys who are sporadically doing it, they're doing it consistently. So
there was just a lot of missed tackles last week. A lot. That did not happen in Houston. I mean, it seems like every play just had, they were just, going right through us and missing tackles. And the Texans will definitely capitalize on that. So that cannot happen.
No doubt. Their defense is ranked total, considering everything, 5th in the league. So it's going to be a challenge, and
it's going to be tough.
Yeah. And I'll say this, we were in Indianapolis earlier this year, as well as Seattle. Seattle, the crowd was involved, loud atmosphere. Indianapolis, not so much. And I feel that, with the Texans, coming off a playoff victory last year and, having a little bit more, they're the division leaders right now. I think it's going to be a hostile environment. The roof closed. You're really going to, pack that sound in. And so the offensive line is going to have to be ready for the defense, who's, again, ranked 5th in the league overall. And they're going to have to be ready to go against them.
Yeah, it's going to be tough. Guys, in their chat, drop your score prediction. See where you guys feel Dolphins are going to fall this week. Interesting.
Not fall. They're going to
land
or what the score is going to be. Don't say fall, because we don't want them to fall.
No one's falling. Where the score is going to land. Ironically, for those coming on the trip with us or just in general, it's a 12 o'clock game, Houston. They're an hour behind us. So that'll be cool to get to see some football an hour earlier than what we're used to. So, guys, in the chat, drop your score prediction for this Sunday's matchup, Dolphins and Texans.
Yep. And while they do that,
I
just want to bring up one interesting note, too, a little side note. It's going to be kind of a homecoming story for our left tackle, because it looks like Armstead's probably going to miss the game, or if he miraculously starts, either way, Patrick Paul, our rookie left tackle, who's gotten some work in this year, he went to the University of Houston. So even though he didn't play at that stadium, he played in Houston for the Cougars. And so, it's a nice story. If he does get that start, if Armstead's not ready, which it looks, all signs point to him not being able to play, Patrick Paul's going to get that start. And that's a nice story. Nice little, that's a nice
reminds me of when players on opposing teams come play back at the Hard Rock when they went to the U.
Yeah.
But they actually played at the U. They actually played at the Hard Rock.
Yeah, no, he was obviously a big pick for us. He's got a lot of aspirations. He's played well when he's played. And so I'm excited.
All right. Well, Brent's a good friend of the show. Dropped a score prediction. Hard to say. Oh, you never like to see that when he starts saying. Hard to say, but Gut says 27-23 Texans. Okay. Jesse says 34-31 Dolphins. So both these scores have within a 3 to 4 point margin of difference.
Yeah.
So I'm seeing close game.
Yeah, well, you mentioned the line is 3, so
that would that would get you there.
Yeah, I think that us not beating up on the Jets last week. You want to go first, or should I?
We got one more. Let me put one more in the chat.
Okay.
Russ, our buddy from Pennsylvania, Texans 24, Fins 17. All right, okay. So another one thinking the Dolphins may not win in Houston. We've struggled with good teams, and are the Texans good? They're not great, but they're good. So this is really gonna put this is really gonna clear up a lot of maybe questionable teams, or do we just beat up on the bad teams like the Jets and stuff? So I am not that confident going into an RG Stadium, but it's possible. And I think, if any of these games are truly, truly winnable, we should beat the 49ers, and, we should beat the Browns, and of course beat the Jets. This is one where you really want to stamp it and be like, okay, this is a good team. So with all that said, I think we will come out there victorious, 24-20 Dolphins.
Nice. Okay.
Another one in the chat, Papa Paul, who's also going to Houston with us as well.
Yes, he is.
Super excited to see you and Nancy this week. Good evening. See you guys Saturday as well. Calvin also dropped a score prediction. Fins 27, Texas 21. All right. So,
okay.
What do you think?
Yeah. So, look, this is a must-win game. There's no room for error here. We're already 2 games behind in the wild card standing, and so we can't afford to slip up here. And you mentioned beat a good team, right? Well, I wouldn't say the Texans are a good team. I think in the pecking order in the AFC, obviously you got the Chiefs and the Bills are 1A and 1B, and then you got some other teams that are in the mix. Chargers are playing well. The Ravens are hanging around. Pittsburgh is that 3rd seed right now. So the Texans, I wouldn't put them amongst any of those teams. So I wouldn't say they're a good team. I would say they have a winning record. They got a good quarterback, and as we mentioned, a good receiver, a good running back. Their defense is formidable, but they haven't really played a crazy schedule. And so, I don't know if they're a good team. I do know that we have to win this game. I do know that, we've taken 2 licks on the road. I'm talking about us being there live and watching our boys, not being able to come out with a win. And as we've mentioned before on the show, both of those losses that we saw in Seattle and in Indianapolis, both had Tim Boyle finishing those games. Well, guess what? Tim Boyle is no longer on the roster. So no matter what happens here, we will not be subjected to see Tim Boyle come in to clean up at quarterback. And that's the way I look at it, right? I think that since we know that we're not going to a road game where we're going to see a backup quarterback play, and
we're showing our best weapons.
In this case, the 4th stringer off the practice squad, Tua is healthy. He's going to, finish this game out, we hope. And the fact that he's starting the game and we're going to be there, I think that this is a must-win game and we're going to do it. I predict 27-24 Miami Football Dolphins. That's what I got.
Papa Paul again, who is joining us in Houston, 23-20 Fins.
There you go. I like it.
All right, but Brent makes a good point. Can we stop the run, Mixon?
That's true. I mean, look, the Jets, again, they were without their starter last week, and they still ran it to us for 83 yards. Can we stop them? Yes, we can. I mean, the defense was doing a good job there. They kind of took a step back last week, but that's another reason why I predicted a victory here. The fact that if we would have blown out the Jets, a really bad Jets team, maybe the guys get too high on themselves or whatever. They pretty much came back from the dead. They came back from the dead thanks to Malik Washington, and they were able to pull it out. And sometimes you need that. Russ is in the room right now. The Eagles just barely beat the Panthers. By the way, I don't know if you saw this or not. Somebody put $3 million on the money line for the Eagles to win to get back $400,000. And yes, the Eagles won, but the Panthers were driving down 6 on that last possession. And, had they won, that guy would have lost $3 million. So again, it goes to show you sometimes the better teams in the league are going to struggle. And so it's a good thing that we had to come back from the dead and win that game against the Jets. I think it's going to hype the team up even more. There's a 0 margin of error here, and they got to win.
Our secondary was a problem last week. They need to do better. That is facts. They say blue skies and beer in Houston. We'll take it. Eagles are a little soap opera right now.
Cheers to that, Joe. Cheers.
So we'll see, right? I mean, a look around the league. Obviously, there are some teams who we need to win. There are some teams that we would ideally like to lose. Ravens at Giants on Sunday. Giants are
don't hold your breath on that one. The Giants, like you said, are horrible. So
they are horrible, but they have nothing to lose. Is it one of those games where they sort of light it up and just?
Well, who's the quarterback? Is it Danny DeVito? Is that the guy that's quarterbacking these days? I don't know. I don't know. I don't know if the Giants. I wouldn't hold our breath. We did get help last week. It seems like everybody the Broncos were on bye, the Colts were on bye.
Yeah.
But the Chargers did lose. They lost obviously on Sunday Night Football to the Chiefs, so that helped us. That brought them back to the pack. They're now 8-5. So we're 2 games behind the Chargers, 2 games behind the Broncos. So yeah.
Another big matchup this week is the Colts and the Broncos. Like you said, they're both on bye.
Huge.
The Colts beat us, so they had a tiebreaker against us, and they're kind of just like nipping at us. So it would be good to start seeing them just like go away. Go away.
Look, it's just there's 4 weeks left, right? And so anything could happen. 2 things on this game. Yes, you kind of maybe want to root for the Colts a little bit because you want the Broncos to fall back, but you got to remember the Colts beat us, as you mentioned, and they had the tiebreaker. So now it could go another way too. Get really crazy here. If the Texans have a complete free fall and the Colts win the South, if we're able to win against the Texans this Sunday, we would have the head-to-head tiebreaker with them. So that's one option. And then also not getting ahead of this week coming up, because you got one more game you were gonna mention. But the following week, week 16, the Chargers and the Broncos play each other. So that's somebody will lose that game unless it ends in a tie. Somebody will lose that game, and again, that's one step closer the Dolphins can get in the loss column to two teams. So,
and then the other one I was going to mention was the Bucks head to the West Coast against the Chargers, 4:25 game. So that's also another one that we have our ohos on.
Yeah, I feel a little bit better about that one. I don't feel good at all about the Giants beating the Ravens. Don't at all. The Buccaneers have been playing all right ball. They're in a battle for the South, so they got to obviously win. They got weapons, but geez, the Chargers are playing good football. They almost beat the Chiefs in Arrowhead, which the Chiefs really have gotten lucky this year. But
same with the Eagles. They barely won some games by the skin of their teeth.
Yeah, well, they've had some blowouts, but yeah, they've that's the way this league is.
Yeah,
anything can happen any given Sunday. So, but no, yeah, those are the three games we're looking at: Ravens at Giants. You got the Colts at the Broncos, and then you got the Bucks and the Chargers, and each of those games will potentially have some say in if the Dolphins are able to sneak into this playoffs.
Definitely. So, you want to put a close on Houston, since we have a lot of people in the room who are actually coming with us.
Yeah, go ahead. And I know you want to mention some of the things going around town.
Yeah, let's do it. Or let me do it. So Lou and I head out to Houston tomorrow. We have a flight from Miami going to Houston to kind of explore the lay of the lands and to get everything ready. Our guests who have booked full packages with us will be arriving on Friday at our host hotel. So check-in begins at 3 p.m. So come to the hotel anytime after 3 p.m. to check in and to get comfy and start enjoying the city. That night, for those who have a package with us, we have a private social at night for depending on the weather, but the weather looks like it's actually going to be pretty good that night. Okay. And then Saturday is our social, Fins Fan Social, from 2 to 4 p.m. Co-hosting this with Richmond Webb. Cannot wait to see him. It is going to be a great time. It's at the Drift Bar. We are sold out of tickets. And just really, really excited to. That's really the kickoff of the weekend. It's the Fins Fan Social. We did it at Brothers Bar and Grill in Indy, and it just looks like a kumbaya, and it's even a bigger kumbaya because we have Richmond, literally bigger. So that'll be from 2 to 4 at the Drift Bar in Houston. And then on Sunday.
Well, hold on, back up. During the social, obviously the highlight there is Richmond Webb's going to be there. That's awesome. As you know by now, we're trying to get him into the Hall of Fame. Yeah. So it's going to be another big opportunity to show Canton and the Pro Football Hall of Fame voters that we are serious about this, that we are out there to support Richmond Webb, and we're all going to, have an opportunity to showcase how much we want him to, put on that gold jacket. So that's going to be awesome. We're going to have some raffle prizes to give out, some other surprises, door prizes as well for those that purchase their tickets for the social. So that'll be a good time. And also the Army-Navy's game is going to be going on. That's always an awesome classic game. Army-Navy, salute to service. So that's going to be a lot of fun to have that game on in the background and mingle with fellow Fin fans that are coming from all over the country. Some from
there's actually 2 different countries that are
Switzerland
and Mexico.
So there you go. Well, Mexico's close to Houston, so it's still good. You're crossing the border, you're showing a passport, you got my respect. And if you're coming from Switzerland, that's real deal. We got to, definitely do something nice for them because that's a heck of a trip over here. So that'll be fun to connect with all our fellow Fin fans.
Definitely. It's going to be a great time. And then obviously Sunday is the game. Like we mentioned before, it's a 12 o'clock game. So we lose an hour of sleep, but just to get to enjoy football an hour earlier. And we are going to be taking the Metro train to the stadium. It is where our host hotel is. There's a stop right there. Quick, easy Metro ride that brings us right by the Astrodome. And obviously that's still in the same vicinity of NRG.
I can't wait for that. I grew up watching, I love baseball.
Yeah.
And the Astrodome was like the big deal when I was a little kid. Just didn't happen, right? You didn't have all these stadiums were outdoors. And the Astrodome, again, before my time, but I still remember it. being lauded and admired, and people were like, wow, look at that thing.
Yeah.
And now it's like an ancient whatever, but it'd be cool to see. Like, unfortunately, it's dilapidated, it's condemned. I think they can't knock it down. It's a historic marker, but it's going to be cool to pull up and see the famous Astrodome right next to the new stadium, NRG Stadium, where our Dolphins will be playing the Houston Texans on Sunday.
It'll be awesome.
Yeah.
And so, hopefully when, not if, when we get the victory.
Boom.
And then most of us leave on Monday. So
Victory Monday. We'll be walking out we will be walking out on Victory Monday.
So that'll be fun. So that is the trip. But we head out tomorrow, and we look forward to seeing Dave and Desi and Paul and everyone else joining us on the show and not on the show this weekend. It's a huge group of us from all over, just within our group alone. I mean, so many states are represented, obviously heavy in Florida, but New Jersey, New York, Massachusetts, Ohio, California, Texas. I mean, it goes on and on. So
Ben's Nation coming to
truly
Texas.
And sincerely. Maryland, I mean, there's tons of Pennsylvania. So that'll be great.
I'm going to be looking for an aqua cowboy hat. It's in Texas, right? Everything is bigger and better there. So I'm going to be looking for an aqua or orange cowboy hat. I will be doing that, and I will probably wear that. And that's what I'm looking forward to.
It'll be awesome. Some news around the league. Obviously, the biggest news that shook all of sports this week was Juan Soto. Huge contract, 15 years, practically $1 billion. You round that up, and that is closer to $1 billion than $1 million. So Juan Soto is going to be playing baseball for a very, very long time with the New York Mets, but also going to be getting majorly paid.
Yeah,
I mean, literally.
It's hard to say that. I mean, 15 years. I mean, I know a lot of people.
Time.
Well, look, Bryce Harper signed for 13 years, so there is a precedent towards that. Giancarlo Stanton, when he signed that crazy deal with the Marlins, that was 12 years. So these contracts are going to get bigger and bigger and more expensive, and it is what it is. I mean, you got to pay the market price. I heard that one of the sticking points was that he offered, or he asked the Yankees to include a suite for his family for every game, and the Yankees said no. And so that kind of upset him. And then he, I guess, went down the street and, down the next borough and ended up in Queens and asked the Mets, and they said yes. And the rest is history. I'm not sure that was the ending or the reason why, but that was rumoredly to be one of the factors for his decision. So we'll see. But look, the Yankees used that money, and they just signed Max Fried from the Atlanta Braves, and he's a hell of a pitcher. So, you commit that much money to a player, you get your hands tied.
Yeah.
So the Yankee fans shouldn't be that disappointed because they have $765 million to spend elsewhere, and they will.
Definitely. We also mentioned in the beginning of the show about Jake Berger. We've been talking about the past few days and weeks and months how excited we were about going to Texas. However, one of our favorite baseball players on the Marlins, Jake Berger, was not supposed to be following us to Texas.
He might be on our flight now. Who knows?
No, he's going to Dallas.
Well, but he might have a connection.
Lou,
he might have a connection.
He would not be connected in Houston. It's too close. Regardless, Jake Berger.
I'm going to bring an autograph. I'm going to bring a baseball for him to autograph, just in case. But
not happening.
All
but
right.
too soon to even joke around about it. It's actually sickening, to be honest with you.
It is, no doubt.
And now they're talking about maybe Jesus Luzardo up in the top of the block. Then they're talking about not even just baseball, just switching up to basketball. Jimmy Butler's back in the trade rumors. So obviously I speak for myself when I say this, but also speak for Heat Nation. We want Jimmy to retire as a Heat.
Right.
But what he also did, he also named 4 teams where he'd be willing to get traded to.
Right.
Here nor there. Jake Berger got traded to the Rangers. I mean, what do you want to say about it?
Well,
we got 3 prospects back. One is in the top 30. The other 2 may never even make it to the big leagues. Like, it's not good. It's not good. It's not good.
I'll tell you why this one hurt a lot is that he was just making $800,000. I mean, when you compare that to other salaries, that's very cheap. That's almost league minimum, right in the border. He's not a great player. He's a player who hits a lot of home runs, which is we have nobody else on the roster that does that. So, that hurts from the standpoint that he's a cheap player and he had some power, some pop in his bat, and we don't have anybody else who can do that as of right now on the roster. So there was and plus he was under club control for 2 more years. So they didn't have to pay him more money for the next 2 seasons. Why not just keep him and have some kind of his name is Berger. So they went ahead and made a whole marketing campaign on him, and they had a $5 burger. If you came out on
Burger King agreement.
Yeah, Burger King did the crown on him. So it was an easy marketing thing. You did not have to get rid of this guy. I hope these guys that they got back pan out, because you gave up a guy that did nothing to move your numbers, and you're trying to clean up your books, and you gave him up for no reason. So
not good.
We'll see. It's just not good at all.
And then the other news we recently found out, Bill Belichick has been unemployed the last few months, obviously since his stint with the Patriots ended, and he's been enjoying life with his 20-something-year-old girlfriend.
That's right.
And
nothing wrong with that. Good for you, Bill.
And Tony Farrell was saying,
hey, you got to give him credit, man. He really knows how to, make his way off the field, I guess, if you want to say it that way.
So he surprisingly went from coaching pros with the New England Patriots to taking a job with UNC.
Well, it's not official yet. They're finalizing it.
It's going to be.
They're finalizing it, but it looks like it's going to happen. This to me shocks me. I mean, Bill Belichick, number one, is 72 years old. So in this day and age, I think that's one of the reasons why Nick Saban retired. All these coaches are trying to get out because the transfer portal, the NIL money. He's going to have to recruit, and not
that's
just
the thing. Like, this job's going to be a lot more hands-on than what Robert Kraft and company did for him. So it's going to be a lot more hands-on, a lot of meetings, a lot of talking to kids. You're going to be talking to 17, 16-year-old kids.
That's just it. I mean, you're going to have
to
correct. You're going to have to go to high schools and talk to not just seniors. You're going to have to talk to, as you said,
and parents and
juniors
parents.
and sophomores, and talk to those parents. I mean, this is kind of like a car salesman.
Yeah.
You got to sell your program, which, by the way, he's never ran a college program. I know that he could bring, his Hall of Fame buddies and whatnot.
But it's going to be so different. Like,
it's just going to be
Jason Taylor and stuff. He's
that didn't translate well either.
Exactly,
for the
that's what I'm saying. So just because you had a stint in the pros or you coach in the pros doesn't mean that it translates to bringing greatness into a college program. So I don't doubt him. I think he knows the game, but I don't know if he knows what he's getting himself into.
Yeah, for me, it's just bizarre. It's bizarre. I don't see him fitting.
Maybe the Cowboys, if anything.
Yeah, I don't see him fitting in a college campus and trying to convince these kids. I think they're going to tune him out and not listen to him. Now, I would say this.
No, I think the opposite. I think they're going to be scared as all heck of him.
They could be, but I just don't think they're going to respect him the same way an NFL player would that has proven that what he could do in the league. So that's that. But there's two factors to this. Number one, it appears that he's set it up or part of the contract. Again, before we went on the air here, I don't know if it's finalized. It was getting close, and the ball was in his court, so he could decline or accept the job. But one of the stipulations is that his son would have to be the next head coach. So they would write that down somewhere. So maybe he's doing that as a favor to his son. But I just don't know how he took this year off, obviously, for the NFL, and now he's going to go coach college football. I don't see him being able to get back into football, into the NFL. I mean, I don't see him, somebody coming out and trying to get him from college to get back on the NFL sideline. So I think pretty much.
Didn't Rick Pitino do that too?
He did, but it's different. He did that when he was 45 years old, not 72.
Touche.
So I think at this point, his NFL window has sailed, and I think this is why he's reaching out, or they reached out to him, and it looks like that's the path he's going. And I think he's done with the NFL, in my opinion, as a coach. That's what I think. So we'll see how that works.
Switching gears, when you were talking about trades, Jimmy Butler.
Yeah.
Okay, the Heat have been hot, right? It's been, when people ask me how's the Heat season going, right? Those who are looking from the outside looking in, it's been a roller coaster, right? Recently, we've won some pretty decent
Three
games.
Three games in a row. Beat the Lakers, who aren't playing that well.
Destroyed the Lakers, not beat them. We destroyed the Lakers here at home. But then, the big news is the Jimmy Butler trade rumors, right? And so what he did was he told Pat Riley, he said, listen, if it's going to happen, these are 4 teams where I would want to get traded to. I don't even.
Well, hold on. That's a rumor. I don't think that.
No, he said.
They said that, but I don't think that's the case.
Okay.
I don't think Jimmy would have gone and said that. I don't think Pat Riley would entertain that. What I think, and
I disagree.
Basically, what some people said is that the Heat put the stuff out there just to see if there are any takers. Correct, but it wasn't Jimmy. Jimmy was actually caught off guard with this. He didn't know what to respond. So, and again, you're not going to show your cards here whether he went in, as you're suggesting, or whether the Heat came to him. But the Heat don't really do business like that. So they've traded. They've made some
But he's
controversial
not going to
trades.
go to like Charlotte or like a whatever organization.
Well, he has no choice. He doesn't have a no trade clause. So they have to go wherever he sent them if that's the case. So I don't see him going anywhere personally. He's 35 years old. He's not having a typical Jimmy Butler season, but Jimmy Butler's never a guy that scores 28, 29 points a game. He's always in the 20s. This year he's averaging 19. So I don't see him doing any less than what he used to do. He's getting older. I don't think we're going to get much back from him if we do to trade him. He is due for an extension. His contract is up at the end of the season, and I think that's why this is coming out, because it's a kind of a negotiation tactic by both, his camp and the Heat.
No, I agree, and as I mentioned before, I just hope he stays.
Yeah,
obviously, Heat Nation hopes he stays, but we'll see. In other news, the Canes. The best way I can describe the Canes season is like we didn't come this far just to come this far to end our season at the Pop-Tart Bowl.
To me,
that wraps it up.
The Pop-Tart Bowl.
Although that is a pretty fun game, right? They have the whole thing where they have the toaster and the Pop-Tart pops up and everything. The Canes had no business being there, given the type of season we've directed. Now, on the flip side, with the college football playoffs, obviously the big news is we don't have to see Bama there.
Yeah,
which is amazing because Southern Methodist University,
SMU baby,
is there. So I guess if you were to take some bright sides with whatever, that is good news. But now for all the Canes fans out there to kind of see our season just end up in a toaster, literally.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it.
I know that was kind of
Yeah, no, and
So-
they're you mentioned SMU. They actually lost the ACC championship game, but Clemson got the automatic bid, so that was tough because Clemson's been the Canes' rival in the ACC. Not really rival because they've gotten the best out of us, but you saw Clemson get that automatic bid, but SMU had a feverish comeback in that game. They almost ended up pulling it out, and so they were rewarded over Alabama, as you mentioned. That was good to see.
Yeah.
The young up-and-coming team that really hasn't had a successful lineage of a program, they're in the college football playoffs, so that's great. You also get, for the first time this year, home games for the playoffs before they go to the bowl locations, and so you're going to get the Texas Longhorns, Ohio State, Notre Dame, and I'm missing one. Definitely
Oregon.
No, Oregon's in the first, but the first four games that are the quarterfinal games, you got Texas,
Notre Dame,
Ohio State, and there's one more, missing the other one. I didn't write it down, but either way, you're going to have some big time campuses and programs hosting games on campus. That's pretty cool. That's a cool moment for college football.
Penn State.
Is it Penn State?
Yeah.
Okay, so there you go. Penn State is the fourth one. So yeah, exactly. So Happy Valley, you got South Bend, you got Austin, and Columbus, Ohio. So you have some iconic campuses and venues that are going to be hosting these games, and that's pretty cool.
I agree.
The Pop-Tart Bowl you mentioned, they're going to be playing the Iowa State Cyclones. So it's sponsored by Pop-Tarts, but it should be sponsored by the Weather Channel because it's the Cyclones and the Hurricanes. So it's a weather battle here. So I think it should have been sponsored by the Weather Channel, in my opinion. But we'll see.
Another news also, when I drive to work every morning on the 836 West, something that you haven't seen because you haven't been that way is right by the airport. There's this huge lot, and on the fence, huge signage, future home of Inter Miami.
Yes.
Yeah, so they are officially marking their territory, and the building of the new stadium on the 836 West, close to the airport, is starting to come into fruition.
Yep. And they just hired a new head coach, Coach Javier, who was former teammate of Messi. I think that's why he was brought in, let's be real. But he played for the Argentinian national team.
Yeah.
He also played for Barcelona, FC Barcelona. So, a guy who's familiar with Messi and other players on the team. So that'll be good to see.
It'll be cool. It's also, another stadium that's super close to our house.
Yes. So we'll have to make it out there and at some point root on the Inter Miami FC. So,
And for those coming from Fort Lauderdale, know that you'll never see a game because traffic will be so bad
oh
getting
yeah, it'll
down
be
there.
bad getting
So
over there for sure.
bad news
Yeah.
for you, good news for us. 8 minutes from us and 8 hours from you.
Yeah, that's true.
What it'll feel like.
There was talk about when that stadium before it went up that the Hurricanes would play there as well because the Hurricanes, they sell out against FSU and Florida, Notre Dame, but they have tough times selling against the lower ACC teams or when they play FAMU or FIU. So they thought that the Canes would be there, but that's not going to be the case. I'll tell you what else the people are going back to the bowl game. A lot of people are waiting to see if Cam Ward's going to play. And me personally,
I don't think he will.
I wouldn't play.
He has a whole whole career in the NFL. Like, just chill.
He just got invited to New York. He was officially amongst the 4 finalists for the Heisman Trophy.
Yeah.
So he will be in New York and is going to, be there representing the Hurricanes. And with that, he's most likely going to be a top 5 pick in the NFL. I just don't know why for literally a Pop-Tart, he's going to go out there and jeopardize his potential draft status. So I don't know. I mean, it'd be good to see him out there, obviously, on the sidelines.
He doesn't need to prove everything. He's obviously, like you said, finalist, Heisman finalist. He's going to get drafted.
No, I know, but for the university, it looks good for him to be out there, do the promotional, do the press conferences.
Eat a Pop-Tart, but call it a quits.
No doubt. Do the advertising, sign for the kids, do all that stuff. But I would just, the day before the game, I'd be like, hey, my knee hurts, or just out of caution, I'm not going to play because it's a bad look. It's a bad look if something happens. So we'll see.
Definitely. Yeah. All right. Well, we need to pack.
Yes. Well, we got to talk about the Panthers, though. Come on. They're on
the West Coast.
Yes.
Those games are too late. I don't know. No.
Yeah.
They've been traveling on the West Coast. They have 4 games out there.
They did. They beat the Seattle Kraken last night.
And they had a matchup against the Oilers.
They do. That's right. They beat the Seattle Kraken last night, and we were out there in Seattle. We saw that arena. That was pretty cool to see up close and personal. So they beat the Kraken last night. Our old friend Brandon Montour, who we partied with the Club 11.
Literally.
That was cool. We partied with him out there. He's doing great with Seattle, and I miss him. He was a great teammate to all the guys.
That's one that poured.
He did. He poured a beer in my mouth. I have video of it. I'll never forget that. Thank you, Brandon. Just a really cool guy. But yeah, as you mentioned, the Panthers are out on the West Coast. They got that was the first of a 5-game set out west, and highlighted by Monday night's game against the Edmonton Oilers, who we, of course, met in the Stanley Cup Finals. The big news, though, that came out from the Panthers yesterday was that they are going to be hosting the Winter Classic Series, and it is going to be at Lone Depot Park.
That would be awesome.
The Marlins home park, where they normally play baseball, is going to be host to an outdoor hockey game. They have not announced the opponent yet, but a lot of people are
be there.
A lot of people are speculating that it will be against the state rival Tampa Bay Lightning. So that's going to be awesome. You're going to have.
Do you think we'll have first dibs on those tickets? Will it be Marlins season ticket holders or Panthers?
No, not at all. It's going to be the Panthers. It's Panthers.
But then I feel like we would still us being Marlins season ticket holders.
We may, but that's after the fact.
Yeah,
I mean, it's a Panther
event. It's gonna be a hot ticket.
It's a Panther home game. So that's awesome. I mean, that's great. I mean, it obviously took them being Stanley Cup champions to get on this level, but that's a big deal. I mean, these games have popped over all over. They've been playing at Fenway Park, Wrigley, Yankee Stadium. So to have an outdoor game, and of all places, Miami, Florida, in Little Havana, of all places. I don't think so. I think part of the reason
it'll melt.
Part of the reason why it's called an outdoor series is because the roof is open. So they're going to have it open, and but that's really cool to have the Panthers host a game at the baseball stadium. And if it's against the Tampa Bay Lightning, our state rival, who we're still trying to catch with Stanley Cups, that'd be awesome. I mean, you'd probably get people from Tampa to come down as well and sell that place out.
It'll be a good time.
Yeah.
And that place, as you guys know, does not get sold out that much. Obviously, World Baseball Classic.
Savannah Bananas.
So this might be a strong 3 to really sell out our beloved Lone Depot Park.
Yeah, it'll be fun.
Little tab of information that I found out. I did not tell you this. Talking about Lone Depot Park, Miami's Best Pizza may not be returning at my Lone Depot Park.
Really? Oh, wow. Look at that.
So we may have to find another.
I enjoy that pizza, so we're going to have to find something else.
So, they're in contracts, but it may not happen. So one of our beloved favorite foods at the ballpark may be gone.
Oh, sad to hear that.
Yeah.
We're losing pizza, and we lost a burger yesterday. So
I know. We're just losing all our burgers. Good thing the New Year's is coming, so we start our diet and don't have to worry about burgers and pizza. Anyways, guys, we got it back. We have a lot of people in the room who are going to be joining us in Houston who, knowing them, are probably packed. So we are really looking forward to seeing everybody in Houston. Obviously, we have a great time when you guys come down to Miami, but it's just a totally different vibe when we're exploring a city together, a Finvasion takeover. So we look forward to seeing everybody starting on Friday for those who have the full package with us. And then Saturday at the Fins Fan Social, the highlight event of the weekend from 2 to 4 at the Drift Bar.
Richmond Webb
and Throwback Sportsman, but Richmond Webb, of course, is the highlight of the show.
Absolutely.
He's the main act. I'm just a supporting cast. And it's going to be a really great time. Many of you have met him. Many of you have not. And super excited to share Richmond with you and for him to, really celebrate him being a top 25 semifinalist going into possibly Canton this upcoming year. So we're going to have a really, really great time. The weather was supposed to be icky, but now it's looking like it's going to be okay. There was a storm system that looks like it's going to push more towards Sunday, which is fine because, as we mentioned, NYJ Stadium is indoors. So we're really looking forward to our party on Saturday.
Yep, and even more so looking towards the game on Sunday. As we've mentioned countless amount of times, it is a must-win. The Dolphins have had a very rough season. They have not been over 500. They have not been at 500 since being 1-1 in week 2, and they've not been at over 500 since week 1 when they won the first game of the year. So this is another opportunity. We had the chance against the Packers to get to 500. Unfortunately, we fell short. This is going to be the next opportunity, and really, there's no room for error. They need to win this game on Sunday. So more than anything, and all those things you just mentioned are awesome, but I'd be remiss
We're there
to say,
on a mission.
Correct. We're there to get the win.
Be loud, be proud.
Yeah.
It's always.
It's tough to win on the road for those of you who it's going to be your first road game.
Breaking news. CNN. Ready for this, guys? You heard it first. Breaking news. 8-time Super Bowl winner Bill Belichick is the new head football coach at the University of North Carolina.
Wow.
305 Sportsman reported to you live.
Courtesy of CNN, but yes. But yeah,
not
there you go.
Fox News, CNN reported it, so true news, not fake news.
We were just talking about that, and so there you have it.
Apparently,
Bill Belichick has accepted the offer to be the next head coach of the University of North Carolina Tar Heels, and that is a major deal. I'm not sure the Tar Heels come down here to Miami next year, but how crazy would that be? That Bill Belichick would return to the sidelines.
We would fill it up just try to destroy
Bill Belichick, I'm going to say this again. Bill Belichick will be possibly, can you look that up to see if they play? You can just look at Miami Hurricanes' future schedule. While she does that, picture this.
I thought it was one of our flight alerts.
Picture this. Bill Belichick returning to the Hard Rock Stadium, where he has a losing record, by the way, and doing it as a college football head coach. This would be completely crazy. Ashley is feverishly trying to find out. Just go to future schedule.
Did it right here.
So we are waiting to see if Bill Belichick will be coming to the Hard Rock.
We start
next year.
against Notre Dame, Bethune, USF, Florida State, Louisville, NC State. No, we don't play them.
Okay, so they do
NC
not.
State.
He does not come down here next year. But the ACC championship game is always held in North Carolina and Charlotte. So hey, maybe we see him there. But that's crazy though.
I know.
Bill Belichick, college football head coach.
I just got an alert on my phone. I'm thinking it's our flight, but I'm like, no, I already checked into that because I'm that psycho that checks in exactly down to the minute. So
that is, yes. And as Brent mentions, with his binoculars, he will be looking to see what he can find on that field or whatever he's looking at. We don't know.
So yeah, you guys heard it first. CNN reported it live. I'm sure Fox and ESPN did a great job too, but I also get alerts from them, and it was CNN who told me.
There you go.
So you political analysts, CNN broke it first.
All right.
Interesting.
Yes.
All right, guys. Well, on that note, I really don't want to end on Bill Belichick.
Yeah, no, I don't think so.
What else do you want to talk about?
No, it's very. I want to win Sunday. I want to win Sunday. That's all I care about. Somebody did ask, and I'm not sure if anybody in the room knows, but somebody was asking what uniform combo the Dolphins will be wearing since we're going. I'm sure a lot of people are interested in, making sure they wear the same thing. I will say this: the Dolphins only really wear their aqua uniforms at home for night games.
Yeah.
So I would guess they're going to be wearing white over white or white over aqua. I don't think they're going to be wearing their aqua tops, but we'll see.
We'll see.
The Texans rolled out 3 different uniforms this year.
Their uniforms are always fresh.
Yeah, one of them was an all red one. So I don't know. And then they also had one that very strange. They had one that kind of mimicked the old Houston Oilers uniform combos, which is kind of weird because
They come
the
from
Oilers
Baltimore.
went to Tennessee, so that's
Or
kind of
Tennessee,
strange.
sorry.
But yeah, no, we'll see. I'll try to get more information for those of you that asked. I'll try to find out what we're going to be wearing, and yeah, I'll tweet it out there. Or I'll get the info out there somehow.
I will also tell you, we love mascots. Their mascot, I believe his name is Toro.
Toro, I like that already.
Very, very funny guy. Follow him on TikTok. Makes very funny videos.
Nice.
So another great mascot.
I like the
Going for the Colts.
No, well that too, but I'm saying you mentioned Toro, the cars, the monster trucks. El Toro Loco is my favorite. So if he does anything that El Toro Loco would do, or in a monster truck, I'm sold.
All right. Did we get the Belichick?
Yeah, I think we did. I think we washed that out.
Okay, good.
So yeah.
Okay. I knew Toro would make things better.
Yeah. All right, guys. Well, happy hump day. Hope you have a great rest of your week. For those of you coming down to Houston, we'll see you there. Gonna have a great time. Take over the city, represent our Fins, and that's pretty much all I got. What do you got?
Fins up. We're in Houston, and I'm excited. I know there's a lot of food that you are already looking at. Obviously, you're gonna crush some Mexican food. So
that's right. There is a Shula's there too. There's a Don Shula Steakhouse. So we're gonna at some point make our way out there and check that out. So
probably gonna come back 10 pounds heavier. So when you really see us with triple chins, because we already have double chins, blame it on Texas.
Yeah, there you go. Bigger and better, right? Oh, she's got the spa music.
No, I'm gonna play Into Space just because they have
because Houston, we have a problem.
And they have Johnson Space Center. So leave you guys into space.
Check out the comments. Thank you, Russ. Fins up, fly Eagles fly. I can get behind that. Mid-level or upper deck. I'm cool with that too. Peace.